Hello, my name is Movingcat and welcome to my guide on how to get Industrial Age units and Progressive Era units in the Colonial Age. In this video I will go through this written guide I have made on how I got all of these units on my new world, and I will also show you how you can do this while still fighting against late Middle Ages in guild battlegrounds, at least for a few days. Because if you do all of this after guild battleground has started on a Thursday, you're able to get all of these units within 2 weeks, and for the last couple of days you're able to fight a lot with progressive era units against late Middle Ages units. This is something really powerful that I showed in a recent video, where I am fighting with 282 attack boosts against units all the way up to and above 2000 units. And I'm doing that, as you can see, with a progressive era tank, as well as artillery units from the colonial and industrial ages. So this is a really powerful, you can get very high, and that way you can get a lot of resources as well from guild battlegrounds. So that's something fun you can do, but even if you don't have the patience for that, you are easily able to auto or semi-auto with the tanks all the way up to attrition 40, even 50 or 60 if you don't mind losing a few rogues. So in this video I will go through how I got all of these units, and speaking of units, in total you can get 2 progressive era units, you can get 2 tanks, or you can also get either 2 conscripts, 2 snipers, or 1 rapid fire cannon. In this guide I'm showing you how to get the 2 tanks. If you want any of the other units, then you have to follow Uberhelp's wonderful guide on the US forums, so check that out if you want any other units than that. In terms of Industrial Age, you're able to get 3 breech loaders, 2 Jaegers, 1 howitzer, 4 lancers, and 3 riflemen. And you're actually also able to get 8 Bronze Age horsemen. Those are really great to fight with, trust me on that. Anyways, in this video I will go over how you can get these units, I will go over the setup, what you need to prepare for this, I will go over the technologies you need, as well as which sectors or which provinces you need to fight or negotiate, or which you need to ignore on the continent map. And then finally I will go over the Progressive Era, Industrial Age and Colonial Age story quests in reverse order, and show you or give some tips on how I completed those as quickly as possible. Now, in order to prepare for this, you need to have completed the Colonial Age continent map, and you need to be ready to move up to the Colonial Age. So I would recommend having the 2 first technologies ready to research when you are ready to move up. And I would only move up after Guild Battleground has started. So on a Thursday after it has started, you move up immediately, and that way you have 2 weeks of fighting against late Middle Ages units in Guild Battlegrounds, while you are in the process of getting Industrial and Progressive Era units. Now, one question that I do want to get out of the way right away is, can you prepare all of this ahead of time? Can you take all of the continent, Industrial Age continent map before you move up? And my honest answer is, I don't know. I don't know. I really want to know if it's possible. I am actually testing this on my beta world, where I was lucky enough to be in a similar situation to where I can actually test it, but that will be a couple of weeks time away, so I don't know. I really want to know if it's possible to do all of this ahead of time. I do believe it is possible to do it all ahead of time, so taking all of this map ahead of time, but I don't know. And I don't want to tell you it is okay, but then it turns out it isn't okay. So take the risk yourself if you want to. If you want to prepare all of this ahead of time, if you want to take all of these provinces ahead of time, go for it. I would love to hear what your experience is, but I can't guarantee that it will work. But if you do take all of these at the same time as you are taking as you are completing the story quests, then I can guarantee you that it will work. So we'll leave it there, so progress at your own risk. Anyways, back to preparing, back to planning. You will need some forge points immediately when you move up. You will need 90 forge points to research the arcade houses, that's this technology here. And then also right away on day 1, you also need to unlock 1 more random technology. I recommend either this or this, and for that you need a few more forge points. So I would recommend having, let's say, 150 forge points ready when you move up. Now, in addition to that, you also need goods. You do need goods for all of these technologies. Those I have not included here. But in addition to the ones you need for technologies, you also need some for quests and for negotiating certain provinces. So for the Colonial Age story and some side quests that I recommend you do, you need 15 or 35 paper and 20 tar, so not a lot. You do need to negotiate Okahe, the first Industrial Age province, and for that you need quite a few goods here. Here you can see the overview of which goods you need. And then for the remaining Industrial Age story quest, you do need some goods, not too many. Then you also, later on for the Progressive Era Progressive Era story quest, you need to negotiate at least one sector of Kriegerisch. And for that, I recommend, you need to negotiate one of these. And it doesn't matter which, so here I would recommend doing or going for the ones that is cheapest for you. The one that you have the easiest time getting the goods for. So here you can see the costs here if you're interested in that. And beyond that, you need 20 more explosives for a Progressive Era story quest. Alright, let me first talk a little bit more about technologies. So for quite a few of these quests, you need to research specific technologies, or at least technologies that unlock specific buildings. And most of them require you to either unlock, for example, a military building or a residential building or production building or so on. So there are quite a few such requirements. So here I have two suggestions for how you can do that using the Colonial Age technologies. This first one here is my recommended path, and that's because I recommend getting all the way to the end and unlocking all of these technologies here, because these are some really good buildings that I would recommend placing in your city. I've placed these in my city. So yeah, I would recommend getting all the way there. But you can also go for a shorter version where you ignore these, at least for now. So what do these mean? You can see these numbers here, and those numbers refer to the numbers here on the story quests that you can see that I'll go over in a moment. So this one here refers to the first Colonial Age story quest, this one the third Colonial Age story quest, this one here the 13th Industrial Age story quest, and so on. So here I have two recommendations of when to unlock which technology, but these are not the only ways. You can go about it how you want. You can use previous era technologies as well if you need to. So yeah, you feel free to use a different path than these, but these are two of my recommendations. Then we come to the continent map. I already showed this a little bit, but let's go deeper into it. So when you move up, you first of all have to negotiate the very first Industrial Age province. This is very important for the story quest you get, because on this map the story quest depends heavily on if you negotiate or fight, and if you negotiate or fight the northern or southern sectors or provinces. So first of all, you need to negotiate this province here, and your goal by doing all of these steps is to skip the bonus quest line. It's not the end of the world if you do move on to the bonus quest line, but it does mean that you will have to take some time out to do those quests. And I do also believe that there are some technology requirements for the bonus quests that might not be too easy to get. So I recommend, at least for now, trying to skip it. And this is the simplest way to do that. So you negotiate this one, then you need to scout both this and this province here. But from now on, you're not going to touch any southern sector. So you're not going to scout, you're not going to take this, you're not going to infiltrate it, you're not going to do anything with this. From now on, you're going to do these northern provinces here. So from now on, you are going to take these, and you're also going to fight all of them. So here you need to fight all of these. The first ones might be a little bit tricky when you don't have Industrial Age units. I didn't have any issues fighting them, but you might. Definitely helps if you have some attack boosts, or if you have some rogues, that also help. As you can see, as I mentioned, I had around 200 and 100 attack boosts at the time. And if you want to see all of these fights, they are already in a video I made a couple of days ago, where I show you all of these fights, so feel free to check that out if you want some tips on how to fight all of these sectors. Anyways, you fight your way through the northern map. When you've taken this final province here, Garrington, you will be able to scout this, this, and this, do not scout them. Do not scout them at all. This will or has a chance of triggering the bonus quest line. You don't want to do that now. Instead, this ship will appear and you're able to scout it. So scout that, and that will bring you to the next continent map. Here, you don't have to do too much. You have to either fight or negotiate the first province, doesn't matter, you have to take that. Then you need to scout all the 3 surrounding provinces. And here, your choices matter. So here, depending on what you want to get, your choices will be different. So what I recommend to do if you don't want the tanks is to go to this guide here on the forums by Uber Helper. Here you can see the different options and what you need to do to get these different units. So I went for the tanks, so what I show in my guide is going for the tanks. Anyways, so if you want to go for the tanks, you need to negotiate 1 sector here for quest number 7, 1 Kriegerisch sector. And then for quest number 8, you can either negotiate 4 more sectors here, or alternatively, which is much simpler, you can take 4 sectors from previous era continent maps. So if, like me, you have some sectors from, I don't know, early Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, or something like that, you can do that instead. Because negotiating these 4 sectors will be quite expensive, so I recommend doing that, and here you can either fight or negotiate. It's important though that you don't fight this sector at the moment. Then after this, on quest 10, you need to fight either 2 sectors of this or this province. You can probably do 1 of each, but anyways, I fought 2 of this, and then a little bit later on I got the tanks. And that's all you need for the tanks, and a little bit after you get the tanks, you will be tech blocked anyways until you move up to the industrial age. So after you've gotten the units, then you can do pretty much what you want. You can fight, negotiate, do a mix. I'm slowly working on taking the entire map before the story quests. That's quite alright. So that's all you need to do for now. Anyways, let's move on to the story quests, starting with the Colonial Age ones. Typo there, I see. I need to fix that. Anyways, here, because of this quest here, build 2 decorations from the Colonial Age. You're not able to get past this point in the Colonial Age story quests until you have moved up to the Colonial Age. So the first thing you want to do when you move up is to build 2 decorations. You unlock that on your first technology, so that is simple enough. So you unlock this, you unlock the technology, build the decoration and complete this. Then you need to gather some resources. Here I recommend preparing for this by not collecting that day until you get this quest. That's what I did. But alternatively, you can just buy and delete some buildings, and you can get resources that way. Then you need to build 18 paved lanes. Those you unlock at number 3. In fact, if you hang on a moment. Alright, I hadn't planned on doing this, but might as well. So for that technology, you need to unlock this here. Or for that quest, you need to unlock this technology to get the paved lanes. So after you built those, you also need to recruit 2 units. And here I recommend using this side quest here, the auction. You get this after moving up to the Colonial Age. If you complete this, you will get a series of quests that you can complete. Now, the way I understand it, you can only complete 1 of these quests. So after you complete it, you don't get any further quests. That's how I understand it. So what I recommend you do, at this point you will have 2 slots for side quests. So with those 2 slots, you can get to this quest and this quest here at the same time without completing them. And then when you get to this quest here, to recruit these 2 units, then you collect the field guns. You can collect both of these at the same time then. And that way you're able to complete this very quickly immediately after you move up. Alternatively, you do unlock a musketeer barrack right away when you move up. So if you have an Alcatraz, you could also place that and collect from that to get these units. Or you might also give a go at getting them from guild battlegrounds or PvP arena. But I recommend getting them from this side quest here. That's very helpful. Then you need to build 3 residential buildings from the Colonial Age. And here, unless you want to spend diamonds, you need to unlock this technology here. That's the first one that unlocks a house. So you need to unlock this. You could perhaps get them from an event if that was running at the time, but I wouldn't rely on that. You need this anyway, so you might as well research this. Then next couple of quests are quite easy. You need to gain some more population, pay some coins and so on. Very easy. I recommend using the archer. It's a very nice building to do it with. Very small, you should have room for that. Then you need to build a production building from the Colonial Age. You have already unlocked that early on with this, the sailmaker here, so that's no problem. And you also need to research any random technology. So here, I recommend either unlocking this or this. You need both of these anyways. Or alternatively, if you do have some easy ones from early ages, you can use those as well if you want to. Then a few more easy ones. This one shouldn't be too tricky. Have 4 musketeers or 4 riflemen. You should have 4 musketeers from the story quests already. As you can see, you just got 3 musketeers here, and you should have some from late Middle Ages story quests. So you should already have 4 musketeers. But if not, you can, as I mentioned, place the musketeer barrack. You unlock that here right away when you move up, so you do have that as an option. So you can place that, and if you have an Alcatraz, you can do that. But you should already have that. Then you also need to either make your people angry, or perhaps more easily, you can build 3 decorations from the Colonial Age. Again, you already unlocked some here, so place 3 and sell those. Now these you should already have ready, so you should already have taken Versailles. You should already have scouted the next one. If you don't have your population enthusiastic, you can use the tavern boost for it. So that's an option if you don't have them happy already. Anyways, then you move on to some other easy ones. These you should also have taken this province here. So that's no problem. Here you need to pay some paper, no problem. Again, no problem. And then finally reach the new continent. And that's the end of the Colonial Age story quests. So now the interesting stuff happens or starts with the Industrial Age. First of all, you have to scout the first province, and then you have to take it. Here you can see you have a series of quests that requires you to take this province. And this one, it is very important that you negotiate. Negotiate all 6, I believe, sectors of this province. That's very important. So do that. Here you also have to pay some resources. That shouldn't be a problem. Acquire it. Again, negotiate the entire thing. And then from there, you need to scout the 2 adjacent provinces, as I mentioned earlier on. And you need to infiltrate 2 sectors of any of those. And here, because you're not going to be touching the southern sectors, I would infiltrate 2 sectors of the northern one you unlocked, which is New Crackshire. Then you need to pay some resources, some porcelain, some tar, some wire, and also some coffee and paper, and then you get your first units, your first Industrial Age units. So the rifleman you're probably not going to be using a lot, but the Jaeger is really good to fight with. It hides in forest, so when you fight manually with it, you're able to hide it in the forest, and that way you shield it from taking a lot of damage, and that way it's more easy to preserve it against the enemy units, especially on continent map where enemy units don't attack your units, your rogues first. So this is really good. Now the next quest here is acquire New Crackshire or Desperation. Desperation, that's the southern province that I told you not to touch, so do not touch that. Instead you take New Crackshire, acquire that, and here you need to fight. Once you've done that, you need to scout the next one, which is quite easy. Then the next one here is recruit 3 units from the Industrial Age or research a military technology. You are not able to recruit 3 units from the Industrial Age, so you need to research a military technology. Now for my recommendations, I would recommend getting this, or alternatively you can also get this. But the reason I recommend getting this is because I really like the gambrel roof houses. I think you should go for it, at least if you are in a similar state to me, where I don't have enough event buildings yet. These are really good, they produce quite a lot of coins, and I do need a lot of coins later on for the continent map. So I'm going to get this as quickly as possible, and as you can see, to do that you only need to touch these upper technologies here. You don't have to touch these lower ones here. So yeah, I recommend going for this technology here in order to get the gambrel roof houses quicker. But you can also go for this if you want to. Anyways, after that, this one is easy enough. Here we need to acquire 2 sectors of Rantford or Las Penas. You don't have Las Penas, you haven't scouted that, so here you do need to take Rantford. That's the next one you scouted after completing Nuke Fracture. So you fight 2 sectors of that, then you fight a 3rd sector. This quest here, quite easy. You need to build one of each building type, but this is not age specific. So here you can use Bronze Age if you want to. You need to gather some supplies. If you want to do that quickly, you can place and sell a bunch of houses. That's quite easy. And then you need to take Randfort to complete that. In fact, why not show that on the continent map as well, so that it's easier to follow. So you now take in Nuke Fracture here. This here is Randford, as you can see. So you have now taken this, and you need to scout the next one. So acquire Randford. Now the next one here is interesting. It requires you to research a building or technology that unlocks a residential building and one that unlocks a production building. You don't have industrial age buildings yet, so you cannot complete the first option here. So you do need to research these 2 buildings. And here I recommend simply going for these 2 technologies here, so plantations and country houses. That's simple enough. You shouldn't be too far away from this, so that should be quite easy to do. Anyways, then scout the province west of Randford. That should be easy enough. That should already be on the way. And then here build another 30 paved lanes, the ones you unlocked earlier on. Here you need to polish some buildings, so you might want to manually go into cities to polish buildings, or you can just motivate all and hope that enough of them are polishes. And then you need to recruit 5 units from the Colonial Age. Now here, again, you can build a barrack, either a musketeer. At this point you also have the the light units, I think, and some other units. But either place some barracks and recruit from them, possibly using the Alcatraz, or, like me, you can try to get them from Guild Battlegrounds or PvP Arena. When you fight there, you have a chance of getting some units, getting 5 units, so you can try to do that. It's not guaranteed that you're able to do it, but if you do enough fights there, or enough negotiations there, you should be able to do this, and that's how I completed it. That's how I got these units. Anyways, then you need to gather some more supplies. Here you have acquire St. Mark. That's the next province you scouted after Randford. Here you also need to research another military technology. So here I recommend going for this here, only now. Alternatively, if you took this already, now you can take this. Or alternatively this if you have already taken this as well. So you have some options, but if you go for my recommendations, you do this one now. Then you scout the final province to the northwest. That's Carrington, the one I talked about earlier on. That's the final one you're going to do on the industrial map, and then infiltrate 2 provinces, sectors of that province when you've scouted it. Then again acquire some. Here you need to fight, get some resources, and here you have that funny quest where you get 8 horsemen, and you get this because Sporting Duck, because you negotiated the first province. So pay some supplies to get those horsemen, and then here you need to build either 2 police stations or delete 8 musketeers. Now you don't have police stations, so you need to delete 8 musketeers. From these story quests, you probably do not have enough musketeers. I did not. I believe I had 5. So here you do need to recruit some musketeers. There are 2 main options. You can hope to get them from Guild Battlegrounds. I did get plenty of units from Guild Battlegrounds and some from the PvP Arena, but I actually didn't get any musketeers. So what I ended up doing was placing a musketeer barrack. So you can plan ahead and build that immediately after you move up. So after you move up, you can build one of these immediately. If you have the Alcatraz, that'll be producing some, and when you have enough, then you can sell it. Or alternatively, you can produce, have 4 of them ready, sell those when you get to the quest. So yeah, here you do know that you have to delete 8 musketeers. Then acquire Garrington. Here you get 3 breach loaders. These are quite nice to fight with. And then you have 2 quite simple quests at the end: motivate 50 buildings or polish 50 buildings for some diamonds. And then finally reach the new continent map. And that's, as I talked about here, instead of scouting any of these provinces here, you want to scout ahead to the new map using this boat here. Now, when you do that, you get to the progressive era. Here you don't have as many quests, at least not until you get the units, so let's go through them. First one is quite simple: scout the first province of the map and acquire 1 sector of that province. Here you can fight or negotiate. Same here, fight or negotiate. This next one here is a little bit funny. Recruit 6 new units or build a production building of the progressive era. I'm not sure if this is a mistake, but recruit 6 units. That it's not age specific. So here you can place spear fighting barracks. These buildings here, if you go into here, here, and here, you can build 1 or 2 of these. The recruitment only takes 20 seconds, so you can do that really quickly. You can easily recruit those 6 units. Then here you can see you need to scout the 3 provinces around the sector you just took that I showed earlier on. So you need to scout them. Then you need, again, build a culture building and 2 residential building. Again, here it's not age specific, so here you can do Bronze Age if you want to. Then you need to gather some resources, spend some forge points. I combined this with my collection. Then you need to take 1 sector of either Uxgrove, Moyen, or Kriegerisch. And here is where your choice really matters. So here, depending on which units you want, you need to do specific things. Now, to get the tanks, you need to negotiate 1 sector of Kriegerisch. So that's what I did, and that's what I recommend you do. Now, the next quest here is acquire 4 sectors. And here, in order to get the right quests later on, you either want to negotiate 4 sectors of the same province, or what I did was that I had saved up some provinces from earlier maps. So I had some from the early maps. I still have plenty. So I simply took some of these. I took 4 of those. And those you can fight or negotiate, and that saves a lot of resources compared to negotiating the progressive era province. So that's what I recommend doing. And then you need to research a technology that does not unlock a military building and does not unlock an expansion. Now, depending on your choices, this could either be, I'm in Industrial Age, either be this one here, or alternatively, if you want, you could also do one of these if you haven't taken them. But yeah, I took this one here. Here you also need to pay 20 explosives, so you need to trade for those if you don't have those already. And then for this one, Blood in the Trenches, acquire 2 sectors. Here is important that you fight 2 sectors of either this province here or this province here. That's important. Here you need to fight. And by doing so, you will get the 2 following quests here. This one, quite easy to complete. And then finally this one, Schledov's Gratitude. Here you get 2 tanks. So here you need to build 2 decorations from the progressive era. You can't do that. So you need to research a technology that unlocks a decoration. So here you can either unlock this one here. That's what I did to get the Clockmaker. Or alternatively, if you didn't take this one last time and you took one of these, you can take this one now to unlock a decoration. But yeah, either of those will work, or again, if you have one saved up from previous eras, that will also work. So now you have finally gotten the units, the last units you're going to get now. There are a few more quests here, 4 more after this unit, but eventually you will be tech blocked by this one, where you need to get 2 police stations, and you're not going to be able to do that until you move up to the Industrial Age. So I'm not going to talk about those. So that's how you can get all of these units. I was able to do this in around 1 week. In terms of scouting, I didn't use any diamonds, so I was able to do it in around one week, which meant I had 3 or 4 days to fight in the Guild Battlegrounds using my progressive era units. Alright, I think that's enough for now. I hope this was helpful, and I hope this guide is helpful, this written one. My hope with this is that you can reference this as you're doing this for yourself. So when you're stuck, you can go and check these out, check the upcoming quests, and try to figure out what you need to do. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoy my Higher Age series. When this is coming out, I still haven't made the recap for week 14. Which is where I actually get the tanks, the progressive era units. So that's not quite out yet, but stay tuned for that. It should come out in a couple of days. So there you'll see the fights I did in progressive era as well, in case you're curious about that. So without further ado, thank you very much for watching. Good luck if you're doing this for yourself. And as I mentioned, if you are doing it yourself and if you want to test preparing all of these provinces ahead of time, please let me know how it goes. I would be very interested to know if you're able to do that or not. Anyways, before I end, let me thank my Patreons. I would like to thank Homestar, Merrick B, Arkler, Hugo von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Jyd the Generous, Filda, Rocco, Henrik de Reclairberg, and Mattia. Thank you all very much for watching. Thanks for your support. Take care, and I will see you in the future.